Hello everyone! You know, I haven't been making a whole lot of Nick videos lately. I mean, I feel like that's the reason most of you subscribe to my channel in the first place. And I want to make sure that I fulfill on what you came to this channel for. So today, I would like to begin a new series of videos of what I like to call Nickelodeon's Missteps in Time, where we look back at Nickelodeon's not-so-smart decisions that they have made in the nearly 40-year history of this network's existence. Now, I've seen a lot of people make videos like this where they list like the top 5 mistakes by Nickelodeon, and you know, while some of these, you know, are valid, you know, oftentimes they're just mostly just a bunch of fan complaints rather than, you know, actual mistakes on the network's part. Well, anyways, enough blabbermouthing. Let's begin as we go back to the late 70s and early 1980s, essentially the network's very early days. Now, this period of Nickelodeon is what Nick themselves now refer to as the green vegetable years. Essentially, it was a time when Nickelodeon made mostly a bunch of good-for-you type programming that, while parents loved, and even got the seal of approval from the National Education Association, the kids were not too enthused. In fact, many kids at this time referred to Nickelodeon as the Doo-Doo Network or the Baby Channel, or is it the other way around? Well, anyways, kids were not crazy about these shows that Nickelodeon was putting out there. I mean, you know, keep in mind, this was the point when, like, you know, parental groups were still dictating Saturday morning programming, so obviously they wanted to ensure that they do not piss off these groups because they tend to have a very powerful effect with the way that a lot of kids shows were being put out at that time. So, you know, the last thing they wanted to have on this all-day children's network, the first of its kind that was ever made, is any violent or, you know, just like, you know, mind-numbing shows that aren't exactly good for the kids' minds. Well, anyways, back to Nickelodeon. So, yeah, kids didn't like the shows that Nickelodeon was making, and Nickelodeon tried to reassure kids that they were not for little kids.
You probably think Nickelodeon is a channel
for little kids. Well, it is, until the big kids get home.
Now, 2 shows that they made that tried to, well, in a sense, try to, win over the viewers who were skeptical about them were Going Great and Against the Odds. Going Great, I guess you could call it like a, prototype, reality show. Basically, it showed off kids, like, doing these insane things that, like, not many other kids can do. But rather than lifting their spirits, it only put them down. Because kids didn't like the fact that, you know, these other kids were doing these, you know, insane things that they would never get to do. Now, the network ordered, I think, 40 episodes of this show, and I think they only made, like, less than 20 of them. You know, they hoped that, you know, Going Great would help, you know, bring the network, you know, to where it wanted to be, but ultimately it wound up doing the exact opposite, and it would wind up becoming the network's second lowest rated show in its history. And that takes us to Against the Odds, which was the lowest rated in the network's history. Now, I'm gonna give you a little sampling of this show, and maybe you can see why exactly kids were not crazy about this show.
Stanley and Livingston plunged deep into the uncharted jungles of Africa. They made many historic discoveries, but their most famous discovery of all was each other. Amelia Earhart ventured into the clouds at a time when most people believed a woman's place was in the home.
Stanley, the young reporter, swallowed hard to go into the deepest jungles of Africa, where almost no white man had been before. It was the chance of a lifetime, a quest for one of the most heroic figures of the century. The sensation of being thousands of feet above the ground is so thrilling. Julia knew this was what she wanted to do. The challenge lay playing before her to become a good pilot, the best. She mastered treacherous, death-defying stunts, spills and stalls, loops and barrels.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So yeah, these two shows didn't exactly do very well for the network, and it put them in a very bad spot, becoming the lowest rated cable channel across the spectrum. So, they needed to revitalize themselves. They wanted to basically not be the channel that they already were, which was mostly a bunch of edutainment shows. So fortunately, with the help of a good few who did the branding for MTV, they were able to revitalize Nickelodeon, give it an identity that kids could enjoy and understand. And within a year or so, they went from worst to first. So yeah. Sometimes your failures can help you become a great success. But yeah, like I said, the green vegetable years of Nickelodeon were not exactly great ones for Nickelodeon. Though, granted, I would take any of the green vegetable shows over any of the shit they have now. Well, anyways, that's that. Tune in next time where we go over to the late 1980s during the network's Us versus Them phase. Alright? I hope you'll tune in for that. Bye!